The planet was quiet. Too quiet. Broken towers and shattered landscapes stretched as far as the eyes could see. The air smelled of dust and burnt metal. The aliens moved slowly among the ruins. They were tall, with thin limbs, large eyes, and skin that shimmered faintly in the dim light. Fear was written on every face. They had sent a signal, a desperate call for help. They needed shelter, safety, something. No one had answered their cries for days. No one until now. A distant hum grew louder, shaking the ground beneath them. The aliens froze. High above, a human ship descended slowly. Its metal gleamed under the broken sun. Lights blinked along its hull. They could see smaller ships detached from it, builders, medics, and a gunship patrol. Their weapons glinted ominously. The aliens whispered among themselves. Why do they bring so many ships? We only asked for shelter. The human ship landed gently in the valley. Dust swirled around it, creating a ghostly curtain. Slowly, the doors opened. Figures stepped out. Builders with heavy tools, medics carrying glowing medical kits, and the gunship patrol, standing silently, scanning the area. The aliens stayed hidden, watching. Every move of the humans seemed precise, almost perfect. The largest of the aliens, the leader, peeked from behind a crumbled wall. He could see the builders setting up small machines, unfolding shelters, and connecting glowing panels. The medics approached the injured and weary aliens, offering strange devices that healed cuts and burns instantly. The gunship patrol hovered above, wings folding and unfolding, scanning the horizon with red lights. The leader felt a shiver. They are helping us, he whispered, but they could destroy us in seconds. One young alien, curious and reckless, stepped forward. A builder noticed immediately. Stop, the human shouted in a strange, deep voice. But instead of anger, there was calm authority. The alien froze, unsure whether to run or stay. The human builder approached slowly, raising his hands. We mean no harm, he said in broken alien words they could just barely understand. The alien nodded slowly, heart pounding. Builders began assembling shelters with unbelievable speed. Panels floated into place as if guided by invisible hands. The aliens watched in awe. Some of the younger ones stepped closer, helping, touching the smooth panels, adjusting wires under the guidance of human hands. Every movement of the humans was controlled, efficient, and powerful. Night was approaching. The broken sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the valley. The gunship patrol hovered quietly, scanning the area with bright red lights. Every sound, the creak of broken metal, the whisper of wind, seemed amplified in the tense silence. The aliens huddled together, afraid to sleep. They had survived for months, hiding from predators, but now, even with help, they felt vulnerable. Suddenly, a sound cracked the air. A falling rock? A predator? The gunship reacted instantly, firing a warning shot into the sky. The aliens ducked, hearts racing. The builders and medics didn't flinch. They continued their work as if nothing had happened. The leader realized humans were not just helpers. They were warriors. And their presence was both reassuring and terrifying. One of the medics approached the leader, offering a small glowing device. Healing, the human said, pointing to a wounded arm. The leader hesitated, then accepted it. The warmth of the device spread to the wound, and pain melted away. The aliens looked at each other. These humans, one whispered. They are strange. They heal us, yet they could kill us with one thought. Hours passed. Shelters began to take shape, strange glowing buildings rising from the ashes. The aliens whispered, planning how to trust these strangers. Should they stay close or keep their distance? Their instincts screamed caution, but the need for safety was stronger. Then, as the first night fully embraced the valley, the gunship patrol suddenly lifted into the sky again, circling slowly. Red lights cut through the darkness, painting long shadows. The aliens watched, frozen. One alien child asked quietly, "Will they stay with us?" The leader looked at the patrol, then back at the shelters. "I don't know," he admitted. "We asked for shelter. They gave us this and much more. But we must be careful. Power like this, it is dangerous." The valley was quiet again, but it was no longer just fear that filled the air. There was hope. Humans had come. They had built shelters. They had healed wounds. Yet, the aliens could not forget the red lights, the hovering gunships, the strange, calm expressions of the humans. Something was coming. Something bigger than predators or broken towers. And when it arrived, the aliens knew the humans would be both their salvation and their greatest mystery. The night ended with the alien leader looking at the sky, watching the human ships, and wondering silently, "We asked for shelter, but what have we really invited?" The next morning, the valley was alive with movement. Builders moved swiftly, assembling shelters and strange machines that hummed softly. Medics tended to the aliens, their glowing tools scanning wounds and repairing broken limbs. The gunship patrol hovered silently above, red lights sweeping over the terrain. The aliens watched from the shadows. Their fear was still strong, but curiosity tugged at them. They had never seen beings like these humans before. They were tall, broad-shouldered, with smooth skin and strange, glowing symbols on their uniforms. Their movements were precise, almost mechanical, but there was warmth in the way medics treated the wounded. One of the aliens, small and cautious, crept closer. A human builder noticed immediately and stopped. "Careful," he said in broken alien words. He held out his hand, not threatening, but inviting. The alien froze, then slowly approached. The builder pointed to a half-built shelter and gestured for help. The alien hesitated, but then nodded. Together, they lifted a heavy panel into place. The other aliens watched in amazement. Humans worked together without words, understanding each other with gestures, glances, and actions. Builders floated heavy equipment into place. Medics moved swiftly to heal, and the gunship patrol scanned the horizon continuously. "Why do they need weapons?" whispered one alien to another. "We asked for help, not war." The leader frowned. "We cannot ignore them. Their power is clear." A medic approached a group of aliens, carrying small glowing devices. "Pain?" he asked gently. An alien with a gash on its leg nodded. The medic pressed a device against the wound. Warmth spread, and the alien's pain vanished. A soft gasp escaped. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the calm. A crate fell from a floating platform, rolling across the rubble. An alien jumped back in fear. The gunship patrol reacted instantly, spinning in the air, scanning every direction. The humans remained calm, even smiling slightly. "Accidents happen," one builder said. "No harm done." The aliens exchanged worried looks. These humans were strong, precise, and deadly, yet they showed patience and care. It was confusing. How could such beings be both protectors and potential threats? During the day, some aliens began helping the builders. They lifted panels, adjusted machines, and even learned to operate a few tools. Medics taught them basic healing techniques, showing how to use simple devices on minor injuries. Trust grew slowly, but it was fragile. Every time the gunship patrol hovered low, scanning the skies, the aliens stiffened with tension. Then one of the younger aliens noticed something unusual. A human was standing alone, looking at the sky, wings of the gunship glinting in the sunlight above. The human was not building or healing. He was observing, waiting, calculating. The alien whispered to the leader, "They are watching something we cannot see." The leader nodded. "We must remain cautious. They help us, yes, but we cannot forget their strength." As evening approached, the humans gathered the aliens. The builders showed diagrams of shelters, pointing to panels and machines, while medics demonstrated healing techniques on volunteers. Communication was difficult, but gestures, tone, and repetition slowly conveyed meaning. Aliens began to understand the humans' methods. Their fear did not vanish, but it was tempered with awe. The sun dipped low. Shadows stretched across the valley. The gunship patrol rose silently, circling higher but still keeping watch. The aliens huddled in the shelters, whispering. "Are they our friends?" asked one timid alien. "Or are they something else?" A sudden sound cut through the air, a distant roar, unlike anything the aliens had heard. The gunships reacted immediately, engines roaring, lights scanning. Builders and medics continued working, showing no panic, only focus. The aliens realized the humans were always ready, always in control. Night fell, but the valley was not silent. Strange lights from shelters glowed softly, casting long shadows. The aliens lay awake, listening to distant hums, gunships overhead, and soft whispers among humans. They had safety, yes, but the humans were always watching, always prepared. The leader stepped outside, gazing at the stars and human ships above. We asked for shelter, he thought. We got that and so much more. But what do they really want? Are they here to protect or to test us? The valley was quiet once more, but tension lingered like fog. The aliens had survived countless dangers before, but humans were different. Their strength, their tools, their control, it was both a blessing and a threat. And somewhere, deep in the human ships, plans were unfolding. Plans the aliens could not yet understand. As the night deepened, the alien leader whispered to himself, "We trust them, but we must watch. Always." The first contact had been made. Shelter was built. Wounds were healed. But the real test, the test of trust, was only beginning. Days passed, and the valley slowly transformed. The shattered ruins began to resemble a settlement. Shelters stood tall, glowing softly under the dim sun. Builders worked tirelessly, assembling structures with quiet efficiency. Medics moved among the aliens, healing wounds and teaching small medical tricks. The gunship patrol hovered above, ever vigilant, red lights scanning the skies. The aliens watched closely, still cautious, but curiosity overcame fear for some. A few young aliens approached the builders, helping with panels and machines. Their hands trembled at first, unsure of these strange humans. But the builders were patient. Every gesture was clear, every instruction repeated calmly. Slowly, an understanding formed, unspoken but real. One alien, small and clever, named Lyra, worked alongside a human builder. She lifted a glowing panel and placed it precisely where instructed. The builder smiled, nodding approvingly. For the first time, Lyra felt a strange warmth toward these humans. They were dangerous, yes, but also helpful. The medics formed a circle with injured aliens, showing them how to use simple healing devices. Some aliens were skeptical, afraid to touch the glowing tools. But when a small cut disappeared with gentle press, they gasped. Healing did not come from magic here. It came from humans. They were learning, slowly trusting. Yet, trust was fragile. The gunship patrol remained a constant reminder of human power. Every sweep of red light sent shivers through the aliens. Sometimes the patrol hovered low, inspecting the shelters. The aliens whispered, "They protect us, but what if they turn against us?" One evening, as the sun dipped below the jagged horizon, a loud sound echoed from the far cliffs. A group of predators, massive, strange creatures with sharp claws, were approaching. Panic spread among the aliens. They had no defense against such beasts. The gunships reacted instantly. Engines roared, lights cutting through the shadows. Red beams swept across the predators, forcing them to retreat. The aliens watched, stunned and frightened. Humans were not just helpers. They were protectors, armed with unimaginable power. Builders continued their work as if nothing had happened, assembling shelters in record time. Medics moved calmly among the aliens, checking minor injuries and offering comfort. The aliens began to see a pattern. The humans were precise, disciplined, and unshakable. Lyra and a few others helped the humans repair shelter damage during the predator attack. Their hands worked together, adjusting panels, holding heavy beams. For the first time, the aliens felt a real bond forming. These humans were not only powerful, they could be trusted, at least a little. But that bond came with unease. Lyra watched the gunship circling above. Red lights danced across the valley, reminding her that humans were always ready, always dangerous. She whispered to the others, "They save us, but we must never forget their strength." Night fell. The valley glowed with the lights of newly built shelters. Aliens lay in their resting places, thinking. Some were excited about the humans' help. Others were fearful. Could they rely on being so powerful? Could trust survive under such circumstances? The alien leader, tall and wise, walked among his people. He observed the humans interacting with the young aliens. Builders and medics were patient teachers, while gunships hovered silently. He thought about the predators and the humans' swift response. We cannot survive without them, he admitted. But we must watch closely. Their help comes with power, and power can change everything. Suddenly, a distant signal flickered in the air. The aliens froze. One of the human builders noticed it too. He activated a device on his wrist, and the signal stabilized. A quiet beat confirmed it. Another human whispered something to him, and they nodded. Lyra watched, curious but confused. They are always prepared, she thought. The night deepened. Shelter lights cast long shadows. Humans and aliens worked side by side, a fragile cooperation forming. Trust grew slowly, tested by fear and uncertainty. Every action was measured. Every word and gesture mattered. Lyra stayed near the shelters, looking up at the hovering gunships. She felt a strange mixture of comfort and dread. Humans had brought safety, yes, but also a reminder of power beyond understanding. She whispered softly to herself, "We are learning from them, but are they learning from us?" A soft wind moved through the valley, carrying the scent of dust and metal. The predators were gone, at least for now, but the aliens knew they were not the only danger. Something bigger, something unknown, lingered in the dark corners of the planet. As the night ended, the leader gathered his people. "We survived today because of humans," he said quietly. "We learned from them. But we must not forget. Their strength is unlike anything we have seen. Cooperation is our choice, but vigilance is our duty." The aliens settled into their shelters, hearts pounding, minds racing. An unlikely bond had formed between species, forged by survival, necessity, and fear. But even as trust grew, one thought lingered in every alien mind. The humans were not just helpers. They were a mystery. And mysteries could be as dangerous as any predator. The morning sun barely touched the valley when the first warning came. The air shimmered with tension. Lyra, the small alien who had grown curious about humans, was scanning the horizon when she saw movement. Shadows creeping between the cliffs. Predators? No, something bigger, something different. The gunship patrol sensed it instantly. Engines roared to life, lights flashing across the valley. Red beams swept the terrain. Builders froze, medics paused, but no panic. Every human moved with practiced precision, ready for what was coming. The alien leader gathered his people. "Something approaches," he whispered. "We do not know what it is. Stay close to humans." Fear rippled through the group, but they trusted humans enough to obey. From the cliffs, massive figures emerged. Tall, armored, with glowing eyes and claws like steel. Creatures the aliens had never seen. They moved with terrifying speed. The valley seemed too small for them, yet they advanced relentlessly. The gunships moved first, diving low, engines screaming. Red beams struck the creatures, but they barely slowed. The aliens gasped. The humans on the ground stayed calm, builders moving panels into defensive positions, medics preparing emergency healing devices. One predator-like creature leapt toward a shelter. Lyra froze in terror. A human builder raised a heavy beam, catching it just in time. The creature screeched and retreated, only to charge again. The aliens watched in disbelief. Humans were not only building, they were fighting with their tools. The gunships hovered above, firing in bursts of red light. Explosions echoed across the valley, shaking dust from ruins. Aliens ducked behind shelters, hearts pounding. Every shot, every roar, every movement was a test of courage. Lyra held her breath, watching humans and creatures clash. A medic ran past, dragging a wounded alien from the chaos. "Stay still," he shouted, applying a glowing device to a gash. The alien felt pain melt away, just enough to continue helping in the battle. Aliens realized that humans not only defended, they healed in real time. The leader watched closely. The humans had no fear, no hesitation. Builders lifted heavy panels and hurled them at attacking creatures. Medics moved between humans and aliens, healing, supporting, coordinating. The gunship struck the largest beast with precision, each strike calculated to disable, not destroy unnecessarily. Lyra felt a strange mix of fear and awe. "They are terrifying," she whispered to herself. "But they save us always." She joined a group of young aliens, helping to lift a panel. Together, they pushed it into place as a barricade. One human nodded at them approvingly. The battle raged for minutes that felt like hours. Predators were relentless, but the humans were stronger, faster, and cleverer. Every attack was countered, every breach contained. Slowly, the creatures began to retreat, beaten but not destroyed. The valley grew quiet, dust settling, smoke curling into the sky. The aliens emerged from shelters, trembling but alive. Builders wiped sweat from their faces. Medics checked everyone for injuries. Gunships hovered silently, scanning for any last threat. Lyra looked around. The humans were exhausted, yet calm. Their power was undeniable, but so was their care. The leader approached the humans. "You saved us," he said, voice low. "We did not ask for war." One builder smiled faintly. "We only defend," he replied in broken alien words. "We protect what is ours to protect." The words were simple, but full of meaning. Night fell, but the air was thick with tension. The predators had gone, but their threat lingered in memory. The aliens realized something important. Humans were unpredictable, powerful, and sometimes frightening, but they were allies. Lyra lay awake in the shelter that night, thinking. She watched the red lights of the gunships sweeping the sky. "They fight, they heal, they build, yet I cannot forget their power," she whispered. Fear and respect mingled in her chest. The alien leader, standing outside, gazed at the distant cliffs. "Today we survived because of them," he said quietly. "Tomorrow we may face more. But we must remember, humans are strong, strange, and necessary." As the valley fell into uneasy sleep, one thought echoed in every alien mind. Safety had come with a price. Humans had arrived to protect, but their strength and discipline reminded the aliens that trust was fragile. Any future threat, natural or otherwise, would test the bond they had begun to form. And somewhere above, the gunships hovered silently, engines humming softly, watching, waiting, always ready. The first real threat had passed, but the aliens knew one thing clearly. Humans were their shield, and a mystery that could change everything. The valley had quieted after the battle. Dust hung in the air, glowing softly under the settling sun. Aliens moved cautiously among the shelters, checking the structures, whispering about the human strength. They had survived the first threat, but unease lingered. Something about the humans remained mysterious, almost unnatural. Lyra wandered near a half-built shelter, curious. Builders were working silently, panels lifting and assembling almost on their own. She noticed one builder pause, kneeling beside a stack of panels, tapping a small device. Lights flickered across the equipment, showing energy patterns that Lyra didn't understand. She leaned closer. One of the humans looked up and noticed her. "Do not touch," he said gently, not angry, just calm. His eyes were steady, measuring, almost thoughtful. Lyra stepped back, heart pounding. She realized then that humans had secrets, tools and abilities beyond simple construction. Meanwhile, medics moved among the aliens, checking wounds and adjusting glowing devices. One alien asked about a strange artifact buried near a ruined tower. The medic paused, glanced at a builder, then bent down, scanning the artifact with a glowing instrument. The screen lit up with unfamiliar symbols. The alien leader watched from a distance. "Why do they hide their work?" he asked quietly. "Why do they scan our planet, as if it holds secrets only they should know?" Builders and medics worked in silence, answering only with gestures. The gunship patrol hovered low, scanning the horizon. Its red light swept over the ruins, revealing nothing yet implying everything was being observed. Lyra noticed another oddity. A small human device hovered above the ground, spinning slowly. It emitted soft pulses of light, scanning the valley. Whenever an alien approached, it stopped, recording their movement. she whispered to a fellow alien. They are watching us, studying us. The leader frowned. Trust had grown over days, but now doubt seeped in. Humans healed them, built shelters, protected them, yet there was always something hidden, something they did not tell. The thought made his skin tingle. We asked for shelter, he muttered. We got protection and mystery. Suddenly, a strange transmission flickered from the human ships above. It was brief, almost a whisper in the alien minds, but it carried meaning. The gunships lifted slightly, engines softening, then realigned in formation. Builders paused, medics exchanged glances. The aliens could sense a plan unfolding, one they were not a part of. One young alien, bold and curious, approached the medic. "Why do you scan the artifacts?" she asked. The medic paused, then held up a small device. He pressed a few buttons, projecting images of the alien planet as it had once been, lush, vibrant, full of life. The aliens gasped. This was knowledge they had lost. Humans had seen the past. The leader realized the truth. Humans were not just builders or medics. They were explorers, observers, guardians, and perhaps something more. Their power was not just physical. They understood history, technology, and strategy in ways the aliens could barely imagine. Night fell. Shadows stretched across the valley, dancing around shelters. The aliens gathered, whispering. Lyra shared what she had seen. The hovering device, the scanning humans, the faint transmission. Fear rippled through the group. Humans had protected them from predators, yes, but they also knew too much. The leader decided it was time to confront the humans. In his own way, he approached a builder who was adjusting a glowing panel. "You protect us, yet you hide things." "Why?" he asked, voice low but firm. The builder looked at him, then smiled faintly. "Protection is only part of what we do," the human said slowly, choosing words carefully. "We must understand everything. The planet, your people, the dangers. We cannot act blindly." The leader's heart sank. Understanding everything meant humans were not just allies. They were watchers, planners, and strategists. Their arrival had brought safety, yes, but also knowledge the aliens could not control. Lyra looked up at the gunship hovering above. Its engines hummed softly, scanning, observing, waiting. The valley felt smaller now, constrained by unseen eyes. Trust had grown, but it was fragile. Every move, every word, every glance could be part of the human's larger plan. The alien leader gathered his people once more. "We have shelter. We have safety. But remember, humans bring more than help. They bring knowledge, power, and secrets." The night deepened. Shelter lights glowed softly, shadows moving as builders adjusted panels and medics worked with precision. Aliens lay awake, minds racing. They had survived predators. But now a different danger lingered, the mystery of humans themselves. Lyra whispered quietly, "We trust them, but how much can we truly know? They protect us, and yet they are not like us." The alien leader gazed at the sky, watching human ships disappear into the distance. One thought echoed in his mind, louder than fear. We asked for shelter, but what had we really invited? The valley awoke under a pale sun, the shelters glowing softly as builders continued their work. Aliens moved among them, carrying panels, adjusting devices, and following instructions carefully. Trust had grown slowly over days, but it was still fragile. Everyone knew humans were powerful, mysterious, and always watching. Suddenly, a loud tremor shook the ground. Dust rose from the cliffs. The aliens froze. A landslide, a massive chunk of rock, was tumbling toward the settlement. Shelters would be crushed, aliens trapped, and chaos would reign. The gunship patrol reacted instantly. Engines roared, lights flashing as they circled the valley. Red beams cut across the falling rocks, blowing some aside, breaking others into harmless pieces. Builders shouted commands, directing aliens to move panels and reinforce fragile shelters. Medics ran toward shelters where injured or trapped aliens might be. Lyra grabbed the leader's hand. "We must help them," she shouted. The leader nodded. Together, they guided younger aliens, moving them quickly to safe zones. Fear gripped them all, but humans were calm, focused, almost like they had predicted this. The The builders lifted massive panels and positioned them as temporary barriers. Aliens helped, carrying what they could. Medics crouched beside the shelters, assisting anyone who fell or stumbled. The gunships hovered above, taking precise shots at falling debris. Dust and rock flew everywhere, the sound of destruction echoing across the valley. A massive boulder crashed near a shelter. Lyra shouted as a young alien stumbled toward it. A builder leapt forward, grabbing the alien and pulling him to safety. The alien's eyes widened in shock and gratitude. Humans save lives not only with weapons, but with skill, timing, and instinct. The aliens began to understand something important. Survival was possible only through cooperation. Humans had power, yes, but they relied on aliens too. Builders needed alien hands to move smaller panels. Medics guided aliens in simple healing techniques, and even gunships relied on ground coordination to direct fire. Hours passed. Sweat ran down faces. Dust-coated skin and muscles ached. Yet the work continued. The landslide slowed, rocks scattered, and the shelters held. The humans never panicked. Their calm focus inspired the aliens, giving them courage even in chaos. When the last boulder fell harmlessly into a ravine, silence returned. Aliens and humans alike panted heavily, exhaustion written on every face. Lyra looked around the valley. Shelters still stood, injured aliens saved, predators nowhere in sight. The humans had not only defended them, they had taught them how to survive together. The leader approached the human builder. "You saved many," he said quietly. "We could not have done this alone." The builder nodded. "Together," he said simply. "We survived together." Medics moved among the aliens, checking wounds, adjusting devices, and offering quiet words of encouragement. Lyra watched them work and realized that humans were not just protectors. They were teachers, guides, and partners in survival. As night fell, the valley glowed with shelter lights, dust still lingering in the air. Aliens huddled in groups, whispering excitedly. Fear had not vanished, but respect and trust had grown. They had survived something massive, something that could have destroyed everything. And they had survived together with humans. The gunship patrol hovered silently above. Red light swept across the valley, but this time the aliens felt less fear. They understood the humans were ready for any threat, but they also understood that humans value cooperation. Their power was not only in weapons, it was in strategy, teamwork, and careful planning. Lyra sat beside the leader, staring at the glowing shelters. "We learned from them today," she whispered. "Not just how to survive, but how to trust even when danger looms." The leader nodded, watching the stars appear in the sky above. "Cooperation is our greatest strength," he said quietly. "Humans have shown us that, but vigilance is still needed. We may trust them, but their power is unlike anything we have seen." Somewhere far above, distant ships hummed softly. Builders adjusted panels, medics continued their rounds, and gunships circled silently. The aliens had survived disaster, predators, and chaos, but the experience had bonded them with humans in ways they could not yet fully understand. The night ended with quiet reflection. Shelter lights glowed softly. Aliens resting. Humans watching and preparing for tomorrow. Trust had grown, but the valley still held mysteries. Humans were not just allies. They were powerful, disciplined, and enigmatic. The aliens had survived the first real test of cooperation, but they knew more challenges awaited. Lyra whispered to herself as she gazed at the red lights above. "We survived today, together. But what else will they teach us? And what else must we learn?" The alien leader looked at the horizon, faintly illuminated by distant stars. "Safety has come at a cost. Knowledge, power, and cooperation, but also mystery. Tomorrow will test us again, and we must be ready." The valley had settled into an uneasy calm. Shelters stood tall, glowing softly under the dim light of a broken sun. Builders continued to adjust panels. Medics checked on aliens with gentle care, and the gunship patrol hovered silently above, engines humming like a heartbeat. The aliens moved among them, helping, learning, but always watching. The leader gathered his people. "We have shelter. We have survived predators, landslides, and danger," he said quietly. Humans have taught us to cooperate. But remember, trust comes with caution. His words carried both wisdom and warning. Lyra walked among the shelters, observing the humans working tirelessly. Builders lifted heavy panels into place with calm precision. Medics healed minor wounds, offering guidance to the aliens. The gunships moved above in silent patrol, scanning the horizon with red lights. Everything was orderly, controlled, but nothing was predictable. The aliens had grown to rely on the humans. They had healed wounds, defended against threats, and taught survival skills. Cooperation had bonded them in ways unthinkable a week ago. Yet, the humans remained a mystery. Their strength was obvious, their intentions clear in action, but their minds and plans unknown. From the cliffs, distant shadows moved. Aliens froze. Were they predators returning? Or something else entirely? The gunships reacted instantly, engines roaring, lights cutting through the darkness. Builders and medics moved calmly, preparing shelters and emergency devices. Humans were always ready, always anticipating danger. The leader approached the human builder. "You will leave soon," he said quietly. "Will we be safe when you are gone?" The builder looked at him, expression unreadable. "Safety is not only our gift," he replied slowly. "It is your responsibility too. We help, we guide, but you must choose how to continue." Lyra watched, thinking about all they had learned. The humans had given shelter, protection, and knowledge, but they had also given power and responsibility. Aliens had survived because of humans, but their future now depended on how much they could apply the lessons themselves. Night fell. Shelter lights glowed softly, casting long shadows across the valley. The aliens huddled inside, whispering. Lyra shared what she had seen. Small devices scanning the area, medics analyzing strange artifacts, and gunships patrolling silently. The valley was safe, yes, but the presence of humans reminded them that safety was never permanent. From above, the gunships slowly ascended, forming a perimeter around the valley. Red light swept across the cliffs and distant ruins. The aliens felt a mix of comfort and unease. Humans had given them security, but the power they wielded could not be ignored. Lyra whispered, "We trust them, but we must never forget their strength." The leader gazed at the stars, faint glimmers of distant worlds. He thought of the humans, their tools, their strategies, their patience, and their mysterious knowledge. "We have learned much," he said quietly, "and yet the future is uncertain. They protect us, teach us, guide us, but one day we must stand on our own." A soft wind moved through the valley, carrying the scent of dust, metal, and hope. Aliens rested in shelters, exhausted but alive. Humans continued their rounds, medics checking injuries, builders adjusting panels, gunships patrolling silently. The valley was quiet, yet alive with the potential of tomorrow. Lyra stood at the edge of the settlement, looking up at the distant human ships hovering against the dark sky. She thought about all that had happened, the first arrival, the predators, the landslides, and the lessons learned. Humans were powerful, yes, but their strength was not just in weapons or machines. It was in knowledge, coordination, and trust earned through action. And still, the future was uncertain. More threats could come from the cliffs, from the skies, or from the stars themselves. The aliens had shelter, guidance, and protection, but the ultimate choice now lay with them. They had learned to survive, to cooperate, and to trust, but the path ahead would test everything they had gained. The leader whispered to himself, "We asked for shelter, and they gave us more than we imagined. But the future is not written. We must remain vigilant, learn all we can, and remember that even allies may hold secrets." As the night deepened, the gunships lifted slightly, engines humming softly, red light scanning the horizon one last time. Builders adjusted panels, medics worked quietly, and aliens rested, hearts filled with cautious hope. Safety had arrived. Cooperation had been forged. But the mysteries of humans and the challenges of the world beyond the valley promised that their story was only beginning. Lyra closed her eyes, thinking quietly, "We survived together. We learned from them. But tomorrow we will see what we are truly capable of." The valley slept under the watchful presence of humans. Shelter had been given, trust had been tested, and the future, uncertain, dangerous, and full of potential, awaited. The valley had slept under the soft glow of shelter lights, but the peace was fragile. The humans remained, adjusting panels, medics checking alien patients, gunships hovering silently above. Their presence was protective, yet imposing. The aliens could not shake the feeling that something else was coming. Lyra walked near the edge of the valley, staring at the distant cliffs. Strange shadows moved there, two large bee animals. The wind whispered across the ruins, carrying the scent of dust and unknown metals. Her heart raced. She could feel the tension in the air, subtle but growing. The alien leader gathered the council. We have learned much from humans. We have survived predators and disasters. But tonight, I feel a new threat. Something approaches we cannot see clearly. From the horizon, faint lights appeared. Not fire, not sunlight, but soft glows, moving in unnatural patterns. The gunships immediately shifted formation, red beams scanning the area. Builders paused, medics stood ready, and the aliens huddled, tense and silent. Lyra's mind raced. Are these humans allies or enemies? She whispered. She could not tell. The humans had protected them before. But the new lights seemed different. Organized, deliberate, and alien. The leader signaled the aliens to stay inside the shelters. We follow the humans' lead. Trust is our shield for now, he said. As the lights grew closer, the silhouettes of ships appeared. Sleek, dark, and unlike the human vessels, silent and ominous. The gunships moved forward, weapons primed. Builders began reinforcing shelters. Medics checked healing devices. Every movement was precise, calm, but urgent. Lyra watched, heart pounding. Humans had been their protectors, teachers, and guides. But now, even they seemed wary. One builder stood at the edge of the settlement, scanning the approaching ships. He gestured to the aliens, signaling them to remain calm. Then, the lead alien ship shifted direction suddenly, swooping closer to the valley. It released a pulse, a scanning wave that the aliens could feel in the ground. The gunships responded with a countersignal. Red beams crisscrossing the valley in defensive patterns. Builders moved in tandem, erecting emergency barriers, while medics readied devices for immediate care. The aliens were awed and terrified. They had survived landslides, predators, and disasters, but this was different. This was deliberate, intelligent, and unknown. Lyra clutched a small panel to her chest, feeling the humans' control radiating around them. The leader whispered, "We have survived before, but this is beyond what we know." Suddenly, a low hum vibrated the air. The alien ships above seemed to communicate silently, almost like a warning. The humans did not panic. Builders adjusted shields, medics prepared triage stations, and gunships formed a tight circle over the valley, scanning every inch of terrain. Their readiness reminded the aliens why they had survived every challenge so far. Lyra felt both fear and fascination. Humans were not merely allies. They were strategists, warriors, and guardians all at once. And yet, they were mysterious. Even now, with new potential threats approaching, the humans' actions were calculated, precise, almost unguessable. Night fell fully, and the strange ships hovered near the cliffs, lights flickering like stars out of place. The humans remained calm, hovering just below, scanning, observing, waiting for a movement that might never come. Aliens whispered among themselves, the fear mingling with awe. The leader gazed at the ships, then up at the hovering gunships. We asked for shelter, and humans gave us protection. But what is coming now? Are we ready? Lyra whispered to herself, eyes wide. We survived together, but the horizon is full of shadows. We do not know what comes next. And we must trust, or we will fail. The valley glowed faintly under the shelter lights, gunships circling silently. Builders, medics, and aliens waited, tense and alert. Somewhere beyond the cliffs, unseen forces were watching, preparing. The humans were ready, but even they could not know what lay ahead. And in the stillness, one thought lingered in every alien mind. Survival had come with trust, guidance, and power, but the true test was only beginning.